If motherhood feels heavy for you right now, maybe because it's not you. Maybe it's the pressure. And maybe the answer is to simplify things. Sometimes when motherhood feels overwhelming for me, I ask myself, were our moms actually doing something right that we've forgotten? Like, why did it seem so much easier for them than it does for me? Like, why did it seem like they were so much happier than I am and these kids are today? Like, was she right about something? I don't know. So I did a little bit of thinking and digging. I'm trying to branch off of what I said about how I parent like it's in the early 2000s, but I just feel like we lived in such a better time, and we complain about the technology and we complain about the kids being interested in other things, but honestly, like, it's our fault, and we can create a different world in our homes than what we see right now. It doesn't have to be that way. So I went digging in my past and I thought about all the things that made life so much simpler for my mom and happier for my mom and happier for me when I was a child. Number one, kids were allowed to be bored. Bored wasn't seen as some big problem to fix. Like, if my mom was cooking and all we had was like some books and each other, well, that's what we had, was like books and each other. We got creative. We built forts. We played outside. We looked through those books. I remember staring at the illustrations on the pictures, and we were allowed to be bored, and that allowed us to be resourceful and to get creative. We didn't need the constant stimulation. Creativity came from the nothingness, and we figured things out on our own. What did you do when you were bored as a kid? I bet you can come up with like a million things. Plus, it gave my mom the time that she needed to do her own thing, to cook, to clean, to organize, to spend time with my dad, to just watch a show on TV, to read, to write, whatever she wanted to do, because she allowed for us to be bored. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, why are we so against it now? We have these TV screens or iPads or phones or whatever in our kids' faces with like flashing colors and over exaggerated, annoying, bouncy looks on these cartoons' faces, when it's like, no, there's nothing wrong with it being rainy outside and you coming up with something, you making something, drawing something, sitting there and looking at the rain. These are actually really good things that we forgot about. Point number 2, play was free and unstructured. I get like asked, like, why is my kid like banging on pots and pans with his wooden spoons that I just pulled out from the utensil drawer? And it's because he was having fun. That's what I did as a kid. My mom let us do that. We had cardboard boxes. We didn't have learning toys for every single stage of their life. We prioritized imagination over instructions, and kids back then adapted to the environment. It wasn't the other way around. Like, I don't feel stressed out to have to buy my kid the designated toys and the designated things for the level that they were at. Like, I'm like, well, I'll let him grow. Like, what a big accomplishment it is for him to like figure out how to build a little house out of blankets and pillows or cardboard boxes, or make a fun percussion out of the utensils in the drawer or the things that we have around the house. Like, it was fun, and we had each other to play with. It wasn't like some project that I had to curate for them. It was just free and fun. Moms had adult lives. Moms talked to other adults. They actually made it a point to go to the park with each other and let their kids play while they hung out. So they laughed, they talked, they had hobbies, they had friends, they had coffee together, they had wine, they had conversations. The kids played safely nearby and they were fine. Like, they had a life and the kids had a life. And that's how I like to make my life now. I like to have a life with my girlfriends and my friends and my husband, and the kids can go and play in another room and talk. Yeah, we have to watch them now like a little bit closely because they're still babies, but we still put them in the playpen and let them have their fun while we have ours. Remember that time where you and your friends were in another room while your mom and all the adults talked in some other place? Like, it was okay. And they had a life, so did we. My next point is less information, more instinct. I laugh because my mom talked about Dr. Spock and like they really loved Dr. Spock, but they didn't have a zillion different parenting influencers. There wasn't no 24/7 comparison trap. Moms back then trusted their gut instincts. They knew because there is wisdom that is built within you that you carry with you. You just know, like, you know, when you know that something's off or something's wrong, like hone into that instinct. The more you rely on gadgets and apps and everything else to tell you if or when something's wrong or alert you all the time, that inner voice just becomes less and less loud. And you need that. You need those instincts. You need to rely on your instincts. Kids adjusted naturally. Too much information makes you second guess what you already know, what you already have built inside of you, what God has given you as a mom. Next, life didn't revolve around the child. Kids came along for the ride. Like, families had rhythms and kids came along. Like, I remember when my dad was working, he owned a gas station at the time, and we had to go to Sam's and Costco to restock all the stuff that he had in his store. Like, we had to come along for that, and it was fun, and they just brought us along for the ride with it. It was great. Adaptability was learned early on in life. Kids felt secure, not in control, and kids don't need to run the entire house to feel safe. Kids don't need to run the entire house in order for you to be a good parent. Like, it doesn't revolve around them. They adapt to our rhythms. That's a great place to be. Another thing, joy was prioritized over optimization. Nothing had to be the best. It just had to be good. Laughter mattered. Togetherness mattered. We weren't optimized. We were just happy. Like, we didn't have the best of the best things. We just made it a priority to just enjoy and be content with what we had. And that leaves less pressure on you because you don't feel the need to have to stimulate, have to buy this, have to buy that, like, or have the best of everything in order to be a good parent. I feel like we judge each other so harshly on what we give to our kids and what we can provide to our kids, and giving our kids the best of everything. And yeah, while we want the best for our children, giving them like the best this and the best that and the most expensive this, like, no. In my house, we prioritize the joy, being happy with what you have, making the best of what you have, instead of optimizing and buying everything that's trending right now. We enjoyed our childhood and we turned out okay. We turned out more than okay, despite the mismatched outfits, despite the late bedtime sometimes, despite the minimal structure. We learned resilience. Maybe the goal isn't doing motherhood perfectly. Maybe it's just doing it peacefully and simplifying it. Again, I don't want to say that we need to go backwards, but I am saying to remember what worked. We don't need to overcomplicate something that was once full of joy. Look back at your childhood and bring in those things that worked. Anyways, I hope that this inspired you and this helped you to look back at like what our moms did that worked. Maybe they were right about a few things. It's okay if they were. Sometimes it's like, drinking poison, trying to get me to admit that, yeah, maybe my mom was right, but she was right about a few things. Our moms have wisdom, like our childhoods, what we learned, we can bring in what brought us joy and bring it into the parenting structure that we have now. I love to hear what you thought in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.